All right, let's dive into what might be one of the most passionate, confrontational, and just unapologetic letters ever written. We're talking about Paul's letter to the Galatians. In this explainer, we're going to unpack the drama, the history, and the absolutely timeless truths behind what is, really, a battle cry for grace.
Paul does not pull any punches in this letter. I mean, right from the get-go, you can feel this incredible urgency, this intensity. This is not some gentle note of encouragement, not at all. He's writing a letter that's basically on fire because he's defending the very heart of the gospel message he preached.
I mean, you can just feel his tone right from the opening words. He makes this incredibly direct, almost fiery accusation. Think about it. No warm greetings, no hope you're well. He just jumps straight in with, "Who has cast a spell on you?" Wow, that really sets the stage for the entire letter, doesn't it?
And that, right there, raises the big question. Why was he so upset? I mean, what could have possibly happened in these churches in Galatia to provoke such a powerful, almost angry response? Well, to get to the bottom of it, we have to look at the crisis that was unfolding.
So, to really get this letter, we have to understand the historical context. This wasn't just some abstract theological debate happening in a vacuum. Oh no. A really serious problem had popped up in the Galatian churches, and it threatened to undo everything Paul had established.
So let's walk through the timeline of what went down. First, around the 50s AD, Paul goes on his missionary journey and plants these brand new churches, and they're mostly made up of non-Jewish believers or Gentiles. Then, after Paul leaves, a new group of teachers shows up. They're often called Judaizers, and they start to, twist his message.
And this created a massive conflict, basically between two completely different gospels. On one side, you have Paul, who's been preaching that salvation is a free gift you get just by having faith in Jesus. Simple. But on the other side, these new teachers were adding a really dangerous plus to the equation. They were saying, yeah, faith is great, but to be truly saved, you also have to follow the old law, especially things like circumcision. You can kind of see the appeal, right? Their message offered a clear checklist, a way to feel like you were in control of your own salvation.
But for Paul, this was a total deal breaker. This wasn't some minor disagreement over details. This was a direct attack on the very core of the gospel. It was about the freedom that Jesus died to give. Because if you start adding requirements, you're turning a free gift into something you have to earn. You're basically putting people right back into slavery.
So, with the very heart of the gospel under threat, Paul just launches this fierce counterattack. And as we're about to see, he was, in a way, the perfect person for this exact fight.
Okay, his personal journey is absolutely key to understanding why he's so passionate about this. See, before he was the Apostle Paul, he was Saul of Tarsus, a Pharisee. He was an expert in the Jewish law, top of his class. He was so zealous, he actually persecuted the early church. But then, he has this dramatic encounter with Jesus on the road to Damascus, and it changes everything. He knew from his own life that following the law perfectly couldn't save anyone. That personal experience gave him this incredible authority to make his case.
And this really gets to the heart of his motivation, He's not writing some detached academic paper here. He's writing like a spiritual father whose kids are in real danger of being led astray. You can feel that personal, protective passion in every single word.
So, what's Paul's solution to this whole crisis? What's his big counter-argument? Well, he basically doubles down on the pure, undiluted gospel of freedom. He just wants to remind the Galatians of the amazing truth they believed in the first place.
And this verse right here, this is basically the thesis statement for the entire letter. Paul cannot be any clearer. Being justified, which is just another way of saying made right with God, it doesn't come from our actions or our rule keeping. It comes 100% through faith in what Jesus has already done.
This whole concept is called justification by faith, and it's like the central pillar of Paul's entire theology. It just means that our standing with God is based entirely on His grace. It's something we receive by trusting in Christ, not something we can ever earn ourselves.
And what's the natural result of this justification? Well, it's freedom. Paul uses this really powerful metaphor. He describes trying to live under the law as a yoke of slavery. And if you think about it, a yoke is this heavy wooden beam that animals had to carry. It's an impossible burden for a person. Paul's point is that Christ came to smash that yoke to pieces.
But we have to be super clear about what Paul means by freedom. This isn't a free-for-all, right? It's not a license to just go do whatever you want.
It's freedom from something, from that crushing weight of trying to earn your salvation, and it's freedom to do something, to live a totally new kind of life, one that's empowered by God's Spirit.
And Paul says the evidence, the proof of this true freedom, isn't some long list of rules that you've checked off. No, it's the fruit that naturally grows in your life when you're connected to the Spirit. Things like love, joy, peace, patience. These are qualities you can't just manufacture with willpower. They're the natural result of a life lived in grace, like fruit on a healthy tree.
And the implications of this gospel of grace, they are socially radical. I mean, this verse would have been absolutely revolutionary in the ancient world. In Christ, all the barriers that usually divide humanity, social status, ethnicity, gender, they're just gone. They're broken down. Everyone is on the same level, totally equal and united at the foot of the cross.
Okay, so that was a crisis in an ancient church a long, long time ago. So why does this fiery letter still matter so much to us today? Let's connect the dots. Because here's the thing, the core issue in Galatia is a timeless human temptation. We still do this. We constantly try to add our own works, our own rules, our own rituals, our traditions to the simple gospel of grace. It's like we can't help but try to turn this incredible free gift into something we have to earn or somehow maintain.
So this letter really forces us to ask a very personal question. It's like a spiritual gut check. Where is our confidence really placed? Are we truly resting in the finished work of Jesus for our standing with God? Or are we, even just a little bit, relying on our own performance, our own efforts to make ourselves feel right with God?
At the end of the day, Galatians is this powerful, totally liberating reminder. The gospel is called good news not because it's a new to-do list, but because it announces what has already been done for us. Our only part in the whole thing is just to receive that gift by faith.
And I just want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. Back then, the plus was circumcision and the law. But what are the subtle rules or unspoken requirements that we add to grace today? What does our modern version of faith plus works really look like? It's a really important question, and it's one that's definitely worth thinking about.